Hey folks, this is Best in Slot, and in today's video we're going to check out the beautiful brand new Arc 2 Carnotaurus, and it is a work of art. This ugly thing is not the Arc 2 Carnotaurus, this is the very ugly Arc 1 Carnotaurus. This is the Arc 2 Carnotaurus, and isn't she an absolute stunner? Really, really good stuff. The glow up from 1 to 2 is pretty bloody wild. I've got a couple of very, very small complaints, but by and large I'm very much in love with it. I think it's fantastic design. It's like a slightly monstrous paleo art. It's really, really good stuff. We're going to take a closer look now, but I just want to say off the bat that this is really, really good, and along with the raptor, definitely represents like the biggest glow up that they've done. Right, let's do a bit of a comparison. So let's take a look at the skull. I mean, look at the difference. It is worth noting, of course, the one on the left is concept art. It's not even a 3D model, of course, it's a painting. But one of the designers who was involved in making this has said on Twitter that the in-game model looks even better. Now that seems hard to believe, but the point is, if they're saying that about this concept art, that would suggest that the in-game model is going to look akin to this concept art. Now obviously the most noticeable immediate change is the size of the horns. We don't really have much material for Carnotaurus as it happens, and we've got these like bony horns that are kind of flat on the top on the right, and they push out a little bit. On the left they're much bigger, they're pushing out more directly to the side, sort of perpendicular, and they're much wider, much thicker, much longer, much more threatening in general. I would like to imagine these ones on the left maybe have a keratinous sheath going on. You know, you'd have the bone underneath there, and the outside would be keratin. One of my favourite things in paleo art with any horned dinosaurs, because we see keratin in the wild on deer, etc., where their antlers grow in crazy ways and form bizarre shapes and bend around and grow really to excessive sizes. I don't believe there's a reason that couldn't have happened with dinosaurs. Keratin doesn't get preserved in that way, but we see the bone underneath it. But they could have been covered with these huge, elaborate keratinous sheaths. And I think that's, I mean, maybe I'm pointing too much on it, but that could explain what we're seeing over there on the left-hand side. Because we don't have direct evidence for horns of this size on a Carnotaurus, but it doesn't mean it's outside the realms of possibility. And in terms of making it a more threatening dinosaur, it definitely achieves that. And I think it adds a really nice bit of contrast to design. Another thing I really like as well, the musculature around the neck, around the upper shoulder has been increased rather dramatically. Carnotaurus had a very muscular, very strong neck, of course, because we know it as a bull charging sort of dinosaur. It wasn't necessarily, by the way, using the horns to ram dinosaurs down or to attack things. It was maybe used for interspecies nudging, battling a little bit. They probably weren't stabbing things to death with the horns. They were still quick and powerful and had to charge things down and clamp on with their teeth and wrestle large dinosaurs to the ground, and you need really strong musculature in your neck to do that. I know I do it all the time. I did remark on this for one of the other dinosaurs. I think it was the Rex. It seems to be a thing for Arc 2 in that the antorbital... I know I pronounced that really weirdly. I've said this about 7 times in this video trying to get it right. Antorbital fenestra is much more prominent in the Arc 2 version. That's that sort of... It's basically a hole in the skull. We can take a look at the rest of the body as well. Some really nice clear differences here. I mean, just want to say, regardless of anything, the skin coloration and the pattern and that sort of naturalistic approach to the coloration and patterning that we've got in Arc 2 is again much nicer than we have in Arc 1. Lots of differences here, but some nice little ones as well. These extra pieces of musculature connecting the thigh with the body, again, much more realistic, much more what the dinosaur would have actually looked like. The spikes across the back are a new addition, which I don't know if we've got direct evidence for, but this is one of those things that it makes a dinosaur obviously look more interesting and more aggressive, especially for your large carnivores, while still very much being in the realms of possibility. This is something a lot of dinosaurs likely had, and you will see this rendered in a lot of paleo media. The feet have been increased in size. I don't know enough about this to really speak as to the realism of the feet. I have seen some comments that they would redesign these slightly, but they're a lot bigger anyway, so there you go, there's a comparison. The arms have, of course, changed. So you can see a few differences here. The arms are pushed further back towards the tail, a little bit higher up compared to pointing towards the floor quite as much. They're chubbier in general. You know, there's more difference in the width as you go along the arm. You can also see, I mean, the arms on the right are disgusting. They look like one of those, I don't know if people had these when they were kids, but you used to be able to buy these like tubes, like plastic squishy bag tubes of water. I don't know what, or like a gel liquid, and used to poke. It's like a stress thing, sort of. It's like a cylinder, and you used to poke your finger in it and slap people with it and all this kind of stuff. And that's what it looks like on the right hand side. On the left, you can see, although it's still weird Carnotaurus stubby little arms, you can just about see the elbow in there. You can see the shoulder in there. It's still got that more individually defined skeleton and musculature there compared to the one on the right, which is just a weird slab. And also the fingers are more, again, you can't see the fingers at all on the right hand side. Little nodule in the middle. On the left, we've got 4 clearly defined fingers, even if they are very, very stubby and still linked together as they would have been in reality. And a look at it there compared to the skeletal by Jamie A. Heeden, a lovely little skeletal there. And yeah, I just want to say it's beautiful. It really is. If it makes this transition into reality, if it makes the transition into the game looking like this, it's going to be so very, very cool. There's loads of little details there that I really liked. The other change I would make personally, the lips, they keep sort of half committing to this. We saw this with the Tyrannosaurus Rex as well. It was half-lipped. They're not fully lipped. They're not quite pushing that, but I get why, because if you underlip your dinosaurs, it exposes more of the teeth, it makes them more aggressive, and that kind of suits the philosophy that Arc 2 is going for. I think it would still look better with full lips. I'm a full lip stan, generally speaking, but I can see why they haven't done it. And I also want to point out before the final image, we're in this new environment, we're in this savanna, grassland, dry grassland sort of environment, which we haven't seen before. I think for a rat, generally speaking, every image we've had has been very foresty. Just finish things off, I don't know who this little guy is, but he looks amazing. Like, just casually drop this beautiful paleo art raptor. It's clearly not the Utah, so I don't know what it's meant to be, but I hope whatever it is, it makes it into the game. And we'll end it. Isn't he a happy little guy? We'll end it there. Thank you so much for joining me. Throw me a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more Arc 2 news and dinosaur comparisons and stuff like that. Next time I'll try to get this up. God damn it. I'll try to get this up when it happens. I was asleep last night when the news came out, so I couldn't really do much about it, but I will try to be a little quicker next time around. Really exciting design though, really happy to have checked this out. Let me know what you think about the Arc 2 Carnotaurus in the comment section down below, and I will see you lovely folks very, very soon. Thanks for joining me. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.